It's Friday, I know. I was just looking at myself in the camera reflection, getting everything straightened up, and I saw the Hawaiian shirt and said, you know what? That is just a Magnum PI shirt. And I thought Magnum was kind of do his due today. Well, to pull that off, I've really made a wreck out of my computer. Stand by while I get everything kind of semi-restored. What a mess here. And let's just go with this. That's enough to get started. Uh, and okay, so if you're any kind of a regular here, the way my mind works. By the way, this is Friday. I give up. What day is this? It is Friday, April 8th. This is Pi Day Friday, or better known as Drama, Dave Rush Ask Me Anything. I am Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars, and every Friday at this time and place, we get together for a couple hours and talk about Comptia certifications, do Q&A on that, use a Raspberry Pi as a tool to foster our further education as we study for Comptia certifications, any other kind of certification, or whatever other technology kind of interests you or interests me. I've got something a little bit interesting today. Okay, so back to my point, because this is the way my mind works. I'm almost embarrassed to finish this thought, but I've started down the trail and I cannot stop myself. I thought to myself, if you're old enough to remember the original Magnum PI with Selleck, you might wonder, gee, I wonder 30 years later, however long it's been, what Tom Selleck might look like today, since, he was everybody's dream back when he was starting. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, everybody knows what he looks like today. And, okay, it could have been a lot worse. There's a lot of people who have aged much worse than Tom Selleck has. Oh, there's my problem. Okay, that solves a lot of problems. There we go. What a mess. Hey, so I'm glad you're all here. We got a nice turnout for the beginning. We'll see how it goes for the rest of the day. I'm about to do an experiment. As long as I'm being insanely experimental today, I think there is something that I can do that hopefully isn't going to hurt anything. I've gotten away with something similar to what I'm about to, so I have a screen up, a tab up running, showing me the YouTube feed, not my feed to YouTube, but the same feed that you see. And I have my chat window popped open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off of the feed page. I don't think I will lose if I disappear. I'll be back in a minute or two, but I should be able to see live action going on live chat. And if you see me disappear or lose audio or anything like that with me, just let me know and I will come back. But otherwise, that's going to free up some resources on my computer, because I've got 3 different video streams going on at the same time and 400 open tabs, and you get the idea. So, all right, here goes in 3. I'm going to count down from 3 and make that feed page go away. Here goes 3, 2, 1. Yeah, do go away. Okay, it's doing something. There we go. All right, so that's gone. So I cannot see myself there. I can see myself in. Oh Lord, that's why. Okay, so I got to leave that one up and running, but that frees up one of the 3. So somebody let me know on the chat channel. Can you still see me? Am I here? I think so. I think I see myself on the YouTube control page, and it says excellent connection. So, okay, still on. Thank you very much, Ian Kincaid. Well, bueno, that is something really to go for in the future. I'm excited, and sometimes the echo comes up and it's a little blurry, and one of the reasons is because I suck up so much, not of network bandwidth, but of my computer's power and bandwidth and so forth. So that's a good thing. All right, I'm on live chat there. So we're here. I've introed. Let's see what's going on, see who else is here, and then we'll talk about all kinds of goodies today. It's a fun day. I am well rested for a change. So any bobbles that I make, that's just me. I don't have a good excuse. Excuse me. Ooh, that's good tea. Man, that's good tea. We had a lovely warm day here yesterday in the Houston, Texas area, and I threw out a gallon jug of tea out in the sun and just let it turn almost black. It's so lovely and it's beautiful. All right. Tollywood pumps in early at 1:43, 17 minutes before showtime with his greeting, followed very shortly by Brian Cannon. Thank you, Brian. Brian starts off with a question before the show even starts. 2 in a row, and I see Andrew's got some kind of response. We'll see where Brian Cannon at 1:53. By the way, if you don't have timestamps enabled on your chat feed, do that. Use the 3 dots in the upper right corner of the chat feed and select timestamps toggle. And then as I try to remember to read out the times that these messages are posted, you'll know if I've gotten to your message or if I haven't gotten to it yet. So if I haven't gotten to it yet, don't repost immediately. Just give me some time to get there. If I have missed it, that happens. Just post again. It's okay. All right. So Brian Cannon says at 1:53, can anyone tell me what my chances of passing the SY0601 are if I'm using an app that I believe is using questions from 501 security tests? Are they so different that it is pointless for me to use these practice questions? Are they similar enough that I can get by? So let me see what Andrew says, and we're probably in there. If you don't have existing background in SEC, probably not great odds. As I understand it, there are big changes. Absolutely. Huge numbers of change, huge quantities of changes, a very different approach to the thing. And Comptia, to my knowledge, they don't admit this. This is based on observation and reports. They do very little recycling from one generation to the next. I do know, I have personally experienced some recycled SIMs, PDQs. Conceptually, core concepts, there will be questions about them. They certainly won't be the same. And they sometimes have a little different fork to them, a little different emphasis. So look, bottom line is we never, ever, ever recommend old, out-of-date study materials for a new exam. It just doesn't work well. I'm thinking back of everything that I've ever read and heard reported and whatever of people who have attempted that, and I cannot think of anybody who's ever come to me or Mike or anybody and said, you know what, I used the 501 study materials and that was all I used and I passed 601 or 007, 008 or A plus 902 and A plus 1002. No, I would utterly, completely discourage you from using those. And why would you use those? It's 2022. Study resources are so inexpensive right now. Goodness gracious, you get a Udemy course on sale for $10 to $14, something like that. Done. And so get the practice test questions when they're $10 or $14 or whatever it is off Udemy. You're not spending a lot of money for this. So hope that helps. And I'm sorry to discourage you. Just you asked for an opinion. I gave you one. Jason Helms is back in the fold. Saw him reappear on the Discord channel the other day. So nice to see you here too. Jason wound up with a new job last year and been working his hiney off and really turning into the pro. Hello, everybody. Captain Rush made it to the show today. Yes, you did. I'm very pleased. Andrew posted some Comptia blog information about it. Ryan Cannon, thank you for the link, Andrew. Very good. I didn't know if you were going to do the welcome, Andrew. I was looking at my clock and said, no, when's it? So I threw one out there. So sorry, I didn't mean to take your job. I won't do that again today. Chris Kent is here. Good afternoon, sir. As is Ian Kincaid. Tellwood says, sound is good, like Brian Johnson singing lullabies in the maternity ward in a rural hospital. Thinking about going down the rabbit hole with you. Letting it go. 2 words, Sturgill Simpson. Do with that what you will. I have become a total Sturgill fan, however. I got a fan, I'll tell you that. Rainbow Jesse's here. Can I get some advice on how to section off my A+ book according to Comptia 1001, 1002 exam, please? I feel like I'm all over the place. Okay, first of all, The objectives as posted are not learnable. You cannot learn in that order. And in fact, there's some very specific examples where they talk about advanced features of, if I remember the last time I looked at one of these, USB, before they even explain what USB is and how USB works. So that's kind of crazy. And that's why there is one or two authors who look at objective one and write a line or a 2 on it, or 1A or 1A sub A, 1 sub B, 1C, and write a line or 2, and then they go to the next one in their book and do that. And there are a few people who can even learn from that, but that only works if you are conversant in these topics anyways, and you're just looking for some additional verbiage built around the objective. So you got to be crazy, in my personal opinion. However, how can I help you? And let me say one more thing now. So most authors, Mike Myers, of course, included, and probably head and shoulders above everybody else, makes a list of all the objectives and then writes a book in a learnable order. He starts by teaching foundational concepts that are found here and here and here and here in the objectives. Oh, check mark that off. I've covered that. Check mark that one. I've covered that. Check, 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 check. Now I can build a little bit further on and cover this objective and so forth. So why you're lost utterly confuses me. Absolutely confuses me. But you are, so that's not for me to argue. So now, how can I help you? In the back of the book, there is an index of every objective and the page number that we covered on. Now, I don't think you can learn from that because, again, we refer and count on the foundational materials that have been covered previous to that point. But if that's what you feel you need to do, go in there, look up the objectives and the page index. I think it's Appendix B, but I'm pulling that out of my hat. And that's the best I got for you, bud. I hope that helps. Reading messages here. Don't you dare leave, Dave Rush. Okay. I wasn't planning on leaving. I don't, you know, there's no punctuation with that. I don't know if that's don't you dare leave Dave Rush or don't you dare leave Dave Rush. I don't know. Eats, shoots, and leaves, right? I'm still on. Very good. All right. Passing 2:04 time mark. Jason Helms. I'll be here for most of the show. Okay. And visible Savage Cabbages here. Very good. Good to go. Thanks. Thank you for the answer. My pleasure. Little bit late, says Andre, but I'm here. Okay, good. Hey, I'm caught up on stuff already. Yeah, we're a little light today. My presentation today is not long. In fact, it's really, really blindingly fast. And I did something that I haven't done in a long time. I haven't treated the presentation as if I were going to write a lesson, right? When you write a lesson, go back to my old teacher's mantra, tell them what you're going to tell them, tell them what you told them, summarize it, right? And so I finally took today's presentation and did that. And that adds 47 seconds to the presentation today. Hey, well, let's see. I'm checking my notes here, see what kind of good things. Okay, so I am Dave Rush, I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars, and I wear a lot of other hats. And I am joined in the back channel, as almost always, by my partner in pie, Andrew Hutz. He's a writer, editor here at Total Seminars. He too wears a lot of hats, works on a lot of projects. He and I are working on a couple different projects together. I've stepped out of one of the projects, huzzah, because my plate was just too full. I am a guy who can't say no. Probably historically in fear, if I said no to my boss for anything, I'd put my job at risk. But there comes a point when so many bosses start heaping so many on you that I've one day sat back and said, I just can't accomplish it all. I can do it all and do it all badly, or I can do my usual yeoman's good service job and dump some of these projects. And so I did. So Andrew also wears a lot of hats, and I wonder when he too will get to his breaking point. He works the back channel. He researches your questions, answers some of them when he can. Sometimes he saves some of them for me and does some research if he thinks I don't know the answer, and he's probably right. And so he'll give me a paragraph or two on the back channel, and I'll either acknowledge him or I'll just read it as if it came from my own brilliance. Maybe not, huh? Let's see. He's YouTube chat moderator. You can tell that because his name is in blue and he's got a wrench beside him. And he wields, as a moderator, Trollmuir, a term that he invented, the ban hammer of official moderators. He's got a lot of credentials. He's a smart guy. He's an accomplished guy. Accomplished some new stuff too this week. I'll leave that to him to communicate with you in other channels. But among his many credentials, Andrew turns earthworms into balloon animals at children's parties. He collects samples of sand. These are things I look up from him every week. It always amazes me. His litany, his resume and information online is unbelievable. So he collects samples of sand from beaches and deserts all over the world. Hobbies include more that I've discovered this week. He hosts breakfast cereal tasting events, like wine tastings and things like that, cigar tastings. Well, he does breakfast cereal tasting events. I think it's pretty cool. Taking a page out of the vegan books where they take vegetables and turn them into meat-like products. They look like meat, they taste like meat. Well, he does it the other way around. Andrew apparently takes makes artificial fruits and vegetables out of meat products. So that's kind of a cool thing. And when he has any kind of spare time, he binge watches Mel Brooks films, and I totally support him in every way on that. He really is a great source of a wide range of information, particularly security and hacking these days, and all the usual Comptia stuff and anything that has to do with Total Seminars. Please consider him as a wonderful resource. How can you contact him or I? Well, of course, the easiest, quickest way, if you're watching us live, is on the YouTube chat channel. But if that's not possible for you, there are other ways to communicate with us. Let me share one with you, because that's just the kind of guy I am. I'm sharing. And so the easiest way to get in touch with us, if you're not talking to us live here or don't want to talk to us live here, is via email. You can catch me. I am Dave Rush, and therefore Dave R at totalsem.com, because I work at Total Seminars. Or if you like, catch me on my personal email, drushtx at Yahoo. Andrew Putz, therefore Andrew H, also works for Total Seminars, so totalsem.com. And so you got the pattern now. You want to talk to Mike Myers. He's Michael M. You know where he works? Yeah, totalsem.com. It's true. And there's other contact information on this page if you need it. Just pause this when you're watching in the archives later, and you'll get it as necessary. You know what? I did it again. I got other things on that page that I can share and be done with. So let's stick around on that page for just a momento. Feel free, Andrew, to post the usual 2 posts that we do about this point with deals and discords. So just for watching this show, we have a special offer for people who watch our AMAs, mine and Mike's, 50% off bundles that you create out of an ebook and a matching topic total tester practice test. So if you're interested in studying security, I always use Security Plus, Pen Test Plus. Go to totalsem.com, go to our merchant area, and get the Pen Test Plus ebook and the Pen Test Plus Total Tester bundle, or Total Tester rather, and put those in your basket. And when you check out, use the code, it's good through this Sunday night, April 10th, Tyler, Tyler, and you will get 50% off of those 2 items. And you don't have to make one bundle. I feel like making a bundle for A+. Okay, get the ebook for A+, and the Total Tester Practice Test. And you know what? If I were you, I would do them all in this list. Maybe not. Depends on what your future calls. There is an unofficial Total Seminars Discord channel. Total Seminars doesn't own or operate it. We are participants in it, just like almost everybody else. We got some moderators here that the owner's probably here. But this is a permanent invitation for you to join over there. I think we're banging on 350 people, just a little bit shy of that maybe, from the count that I did the other day. We got a lot, and we got great people there, people who have a huge amount of expertise in a lot of areas, including A+ in tech and troubleshooting and things like that. And there's hackers and pen testers and Linuxers and there's a lot of people on the opposite end of the spectrum who are just coming to learn and ask questions. So please join us over there. After the shows, we usually get together live with mics and cameras. I will not be able to do that today. Apologies. I make almost all the ones after my show, but the missus and I have a commitment that's going to require us to bail out right after this show. So, but I'm on 24 hours a day. If you ever want to talk to me, just ping me over there, do an @ in front of my name, whatever it is there, you'll find it. And we can talk textually, or we can set up a little face-to-face camera and mic. And same with anybody else there. I maintain a web server that I bring up on weekends. I started today and I keep it up through Sunday night. I will also bring it up on request. What's on there, Dave? I knew you'd want to ask that question. Whenever I do a show with a project, I take all of the documents that I use for that project, this outline that I'm studying from, notes, PDFs, everything that I use for the presentation, and I zip it up in a little zip file and I save it to that web server, and there's an index that's organized in date order. You can download any or all of my documents and show prep material and look it over. So if you don't want to watch and drag along in real time, as I do a project and I stop and I explain something for 7 minutes, I don't want to wait for the 7 minutes. I want to do the next step. Cool. You can just grab my outline, and sometimes I actually have the steps of the lab in there, and you can just click on it and do it. Works best, I think, if you sort of use both, use my outline and watch the back presentation. But you get the idea. It's over at pirsquare.zapto.org. I do not have it secure right now, so if your computer automatically tries to make it into an HTTPS, it's not going to come up. Just dump the S off of that and you'll find us. pirsquare.zapto.org. One of these days I will get time again and get that thing secure, but it really doesn't matter. You're not sending any information back and forth. There's no login names or credentials or passwords. There's nothing that needs to be secure that I send to you. So I'm not really concerned about it being a secure web server at this time. We're going to do a presentation today, installing an internet radio client on a Raspberry Pi. This is, in general, it's got some wrong and missing steps now because it became a little bit dated, but I've got those fixed in the presentation today. But this is where I got my inspiration in most of the steps. PyPi, pypi.org, whack project, whack pi radio, and it's py because it's Python. And that is everything that I choose to share from this thing for now, because there's things on there that you want to see and you can't see yet. You know, things like, what questions am I going to ask for the giveaways today? What are the answers to those giveaways? By the way, I am doing 2 contests today with giveaways. First one we'll do will be a Total Tester online practice test. You can have 90-day access to any practice test that we have in our inventory, and we got a lot of them, and they're not just Comptia. And then later after the presentation, we'll do a Comptia voucher exam that doesn't require you to know anything other than the ability to guess a random number. If you're keeping track, and I am, because it's my job, this is the 87th in a series of weekly dramas. I know that's exciting. It's 13 away, 13 weeks from the 100th episode, and that'll be pretty close to our 2-year anniversary. So that's exciting. Reading messages, don't want to read all that junk. Ask questions on the YouTube chat, post your comments, communicate with each other. It's a lot of fun. Did that, did all that, did that. Oh, I love when I get through pages. Reading my stuff, stand by. Okay, so every week when we do a project, I try and let you know, is this project limited? Will it only work on a Raspberry Pi? Do you have to have a Raspberry Pi for this project? Or can I do this on another distro? And the answer to that one today isn't nice and clean. Yes, For today's project, if you follow it step by step and go to the places that I go and get the things that I get, you're going to need a Raspberry Pi. We're going to do this installation of a product called Pi Radio, PY Radio. And the particular installation that I'm using has been customized to run on a Raspberry Pi. Now, there is Pi Radio and 3 different repositories out there that you could just install this on whatever your favorite distro is. In fact, that's what got me kind of keyed up. I ran across an article a little while back that said, install this internet radio client on Debian. And they went through the steps on installing it on Ubuntu, which is a Debian distro. It's a Debian fork. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to follow their instructions because it's Python based. Excuse me, hiccups. And see what happens if I try to install that natively on the Pi. And it installed. But when I tried to run it, and there was a glitchy little message, but I got past it. And then I launched it, and it launched. I was like, cool, I'm just going to use this. And then when I went and tried to use it, it gagged and choked all over the place. So I came to realize, no, it's been the one, I need one that actually works on a Pi and has the minor adjustments as necessary. I tried a second one. It failed with a different failure. It was missing some libraries. And then I went for another one. And hey, this one works clean and it's nice and it's the simplest of all of them. So where we been, where are we going? I know you got questions piling up. Almost done with this stuff, and then I can get into questions, and then we can get straight into a contest, huh? So last week we did something introductory. We installed and toured Metasploit. Metasploit is one of the really, really powerful, flexible tools used in penetration testing. There is a version, that's a terrible way. Kali Linux is the same as far as what's in it and what functions, whether you install it on Debian or I don't think there's a Windows version of it, or on Arch or on CentOS or Red Hat or whatever. And it is the same. It's been customized internally for running on Raspberry Pi, but whether you run it on Raspberry Pi or run it on Ubuntu, it looks and acts the same. It has all the same features. It has all the same updates and upgrades. There are 1 or 2 minor functional differences. For instance, the display technology is a little different. It looks and acts the same on the Ras box as it does on a Debian box, but the underlying mechanics are a little bit different. That's why a couple of weeks ago, we had to do a specialized episode on how to customize VNC to run on it. Well, at any rate, Metasploit is included in Kali Linux. And so we used the Kali Linux for Raspberry Pi and dove into Metasploit in there and did a fun little tour of it. Obviously, it was a lightweight tour. I could do a semester on it at the college level and still not cover enough to make you an expert, but it was a lot of fun. This week, as I said, we're going to explore streaming protocols, specifically audio streaming. I'm not going to get down into the guts of it because there's nobody in the Comptia sphere that requires us to know anything more than a couple of the very popular port protocol names and numbers for streaming, for RTMP and RTP, a couple of those ones. But this is just kind of a nice little hands-on exercise that takes advantage of streaming. So we're going to do an internet radio client installation on Raspberry Pi, and that client is going to be Pi Radio. Andrew, if you haven't already, would you please post the tutorial link in the chat feed? If anything happens too fast today, remember, download the documents from pirsquare.zapto.org. All right, that's enough of that for now. Let's go see what's going on in the chat feed. That's French for cat. Cat feed. Whatever. Okay, grazie. Andrew has just posted at 29 minutes past the hour the tutorial link that I used to. Dadgummit, I did that again. Ingrained habits are a terrible and foolish thing sometimes. Come on, 5 more seconds. 4, there it goes. Okay. Window popped on my machine and I felt the need to answer it. All right, I've ignored it. All right, reading messages now. I'm passing 204, where people, to their horror, say they can see me. Oh, nice reference to the Kenny Rogers dance. And I don't know why nobody says loose wheel on that one. Lucille, that's crazy. You picked a fine time to leave me, loose wheel. Oh, yeah. I know, it sounds just like Kenny, doesn't it? What do you mean, no? You people. No respect. You should hear my Dolly Parton impression. All right, let's see what these messages say here. Catching up here. Chris Kent at 2:13. David Rush, are you speaking on his Comptia A Plus 10th edition? Yes. I do some, I did some episodes there, and we're waiting to find out. I have my bid in with Mike to do the whole of the 11th one. Yeah, I gave that away. He may turn me down, and there may be some very good reasons for it. So I try and do a professional job on here just to always keep things ahead of Mike. To say, look, Mike, I can do this. I can yammer for 2 hours nonstop without any. And of course, our segments tend to be somewhere in the 3 to 12 minute zone. Can do that. Jason Helms, 214. I was making a joke when he was saying he was closing something and it might close the project. Okay. You know, after I say something, I'm like a gnat who's eaten. I have no idea what I ate or where it was that I ate. I just go buzzing along, and what is behind me is no more. Okay, you got to way back into the 70s. There was a comedy, Cannonball Express, I'm pretty sure was the movie, and a bunch of people. There really is a Cannonball Express. It's a cross-country, unofficial, unsanctioned, just do anything to win race from in the U.S. Northeast down to somewhere in California, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Whatever it is, in that first movie, there was a couple scenes that just won't go away. I was an adolescent, so there's 1 or 2 that really won't go away. But there was one where one of the drivers, who I think came from Italy or something, like driving a nice Italian sports car, he grabs hold of his rear view mirror. I don't know if it was the side one or the front one, and he pulls it off and he throws it behind him and says, "What is behind me does not matter. It is only what is ahead." Something to that effect. That's kind of where my mind works. Scusi. Speaking of Italian, I gotta find a use for a Kleenex here for a moment. There we go. All right, back in business, passing to 14. TD Washington is here. Made it for Friday. Xerxes is amongst us at 222. And you're very welcome, Rainbow Jess. Jesse. Oh, Andrew was off. Had to reset his router. I used to live in the Northeast, and they called things like that routers. At least not everybody did, of course. But Chris Doherty here. Nice to see you back. Today's tutorial, as Andrew posted, at 229. Oh, Jason, Dave, are you doing anything special for the 100th episode? I plan to. I don't have plans yet on what it's going to be, but yes. And of course, I'm going to try and emulate what we did on Mike's show, a whole bunch of really awesome giveaways, but I haven't broached the higher ups right now. As you may know, if you watched Mike's show on Wednesday, Mike has a gigundous massiveness announcement next week. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do it Monday as planned, or some things that have to be done and some ducks in a row. I did get a message from him today. I got one last night or yesterday that said, "Be ready to cover my show because I got to do stuff that has to do with the big announcement." Okay. And then I got a message from him today that says he thinks he's going to be able to do his Monday show. So we'll go with that. And I take that to mean, because of the other things that he told me, that I don't think you'll hear the big, grand announcement on the Monday show, because I don't think they're planning on doing anything on the weekend that needs to get done. But it'll happen. It'll happen in very short order. And Andrew Hutz and I are in the loop. Really, really big announcement. Big. And it's not a bad one, right? Because I'm the guy who bails out on bad news. If it was really bad and had any kind of negative impact on me, I said, well, that's been the last drama. See you guys. I'm still here, and I have every intent of being here for it, as long as they will have me. Messages here. Jared Graham is back, recent winner of Voucher. 100 Goyer says to Jason, I usually don't read inter-conversations, but I see all kinds of neat numbers in there. So let me see here. I got my new toy. Did I show you yet? The Charlie Zulu 858. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay. I didn't read your message in advance, Tulowit, to ask about that. Yeah, I'll just whisper it to you. Tulowit, the big secret is. Andre Celsius double parse console read line. Thank you. Yeah, wrong screen. Oh, it goes bang. Okay, I know what you got over there. Can't wait to see that on Discord. Andre, sounds fun. All right, good. Caught up on that. Let me get back to Kenotes. News, tricks, and techniques of the week. All right, so I got a little time to kill here. I got to tell you a story. What do we got here? Okay, so I got 3 things in my news and tricks of the week. One of them, every Tuesday, I set aside a little bit of time. It's not something that I have to focus on, but it takes me a couple of seconds to get this all going. I do an update on all my Raspberry Pis, an update and upgrade. And man, what a pain, because there are some that I goobered up a few months back, and I really need to blow them away and do a fresh install on them. But because I haven't, they have a hybrid of the old distro, which was Buster, and the new distro, Bullseye. And then that just causes havoc, and it makes me add a whole bunch of time to my update process. About half the Pis right now are full-blooded solo Bullseye, and those go like a dream, but the rest of them, ugh. Is there a point to this? Yes. So when I did the update upgrades this Tuesday, I actually didn't get around to them last Tuesday. And I think I did them just before show start last week, but that was before April 1st. New stuff came out April 1st. So all the stuff that came out on the 1st, I got this past Tuesday. And as usual, it goes fine. It takes a little while. This one took a bit longer than usual because there was a lot of stuff that came out on April 1st. But I noticed something when I started using the updated Pis. And that's when I do VNC, the screen no longer fills correctly. Instead of 1920 by 1080, it's something like, I don't know, 2040, 2050 by 1080. And a lot of stuff in the upper right-hand corner gets pushed off the side. And I tried all kinds of experiments with it, thinking it was me or something has changed. And I went from bad to worse in a lot of circumstances. It took a lot of time to fix those, but I finally got them fixed. And at least not to where they were. I did not get them functioning. So then I thought, you know, maybe before I just start tinkering, I'll go and do a little research. Maybe I'll go online at the Raspberry Pi support sites and forums. And I went over there, and what I saw was a lot of the same complaints and no responses from anybody at Raspberry Pi. So they goobered it somehow. And this was 2 days ago that I checked most recently. So I haven't seen or heard anything on any of the regular forums. I'm sure they realized they messed it up somehow, somewhere, and are working diligently to repair it. But if you're running Raspberry Pis with Bullseye and you do an update and you VNC, you're going to encounter that. It's an easy workaround. There's a slider on the bottom. So when you need to get to the upper right-hand corner that's otherwise pushed off screen, just use the bottom slider, drag it to the right, and you'll be able to get over there. What a pain. Speaking of what a pain, I did a project early this week, one of those late night projects. It wasn't that late. It was 8 o'clock at night when I started it. 7, I don't know, something like that. And the project was this Raspberry Pi. And oh, I see. There we go. This handy dandy little Raspberry Pi that I have in my hot little hands is a Raspberry Pi 3. I don't know if it's a straight 3 or a 3B or a B plus. I'm sorry, 3B or a B plus. There's no straight 3. This is the box that I was using to run my OLED display, which I've really come to enjoy. I've made it my office clock. And I thought, well, look, I don't really need all this horsepower to run an OLED. And it's big and it's bulky compared to some other models. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch out from this guy to a Raspberry Pi Zero. And I went up into my pile and I grabbed a Raspberry Pi Zero, one of the many in there. And I grabbed one that didn't have header pins on it, right? The little, and the OLED needs 4 header pins on it. Now, Raspberry Pi Zeros come in 2 flavors, and each flavor has a sub flavor. Is that everything? Yeah. So they either come with headers or without headers. Most of mine are without headers. I have one with headers, but I said, well, I'm not going to waste effort using one with a 40-pin header when I only need 4 pins. I'll just solder on 4 pins. That'll be fun and easy. And then 2 sub flavors of that are wired and wireless or no wireless. Okay, there is no RJ45 connector. There's no wired network connector on there. There's some ways around that. There's add-ons and hats and things like that. But I said, do I need a network connection? Yes, I do, because I go in and change the information on the OLED display periodically. So a wired connection works. I could do a USB artificial wired connection, but I prefer wire. So I just grabbed that one and I said, well, you know, I know me, I always buy ones with wireless interfaces. So this one probably has a wireless interface. So step number 1, this should be a 15-minute project. Okay, step number 1, well, I need some more light in here. I'm trying to see something. I'm trying to see if you can see me in this. Okay. So I grabbed a Raspberry Pi Zero. This is not a Pi Zero, it's a Pi Pico, but the concept is still the same. And I got my handy dandy little magnifier with a heavy base and some claws on it. And I set it up so that I could solder my pins on. And I grabbed a set of header pins. They come in a big batch of a row of 20 or 30 or 40 or whatever, and you snap off 4 or 5 of them, put them in here, use one of the claws to hold it in place, get the short ends sticking up, and you sorted the short ends. And everything went just fine. That was a 10-minute project, just like it was supposed to be. About 5 minutes while the soldering iron heated up, another 5 minutes to grab everything and get it all set up and ready to solder, and cool. So now all I got to do is yank the micro SD card. Well, I thought I set that over there behind me. No, I didn't. So you pull the micro SD card out of here and plug it into the new machine. I plug the wires in from the OLED display and just make sure it wakes up. And it did. And then I thought, well, okay, it's wireless, so I have to now connect to it. I'll need a mouse and a keyboard and a monitor to go in and configure the SSID. All right, that adds a few minutes to the game. We get all that wired up and going, and there's a message on top where you configure wireless. It says no wireless detected. And so face palm and a little double checking to make sure. Sure enough, I had grabbed one that doesn't have a network interface. So now 2 choices. I go back up into the pile and I dig up one that is wireless, and then I do another solder job on, and I'm ready to go. Nah, I'm going to make this work. So I go get an adapter, a USB adapter that allows me to plug this guy into it, just a Wi-Fi dongle. And I get that up and running. Oh, yeah, what a pain. But because the adapter I had was an add-on hat, and that's got to be screwed on with 4 screws, and it's suddenly a forever project. But I get it up, I get it running, I get Wi-Fi working, and hey, Kazaa, I'm about set here. By the way, we are now 3 hours into the project with all the trips upstairs and the undo this and the redo that and the screw on this. And, but I got it, and I case it up. Do I have a little Pi Zero case? Yeah, here's one. So I get the Pi Zero in the case, and everything is working. I should walk away. I should be done. But as ever, there were some problems. The adapters that I had to use to be able to connect to the monitor, they were bulky and they got in the way of the USB adapter, and was having a tough time getting this thing in, and the power adapter. So, all right, I don't need the monitor anymore because I got SSH running and I can connect over a network. So that's fine. I got a decent, I don't have a decent, that's the big problem. I didn't have a decent adapter to go from USB micro to USB regular A size on here. So I had this really cumbersome one. My hope was that I would be able to put the whole assembly together kind of like this. It would be a nice little compact package, but because the adapters I was using, not possible. So I said, okay, I'm done. It'll be out here, it'll be ugly, but it works, and it still takes up a lot less space. And so I said, I'm done. And I sat down to breathe a sigh of relief, and lo and behold, there sitting on my desk, I got another one here because there was a pair of them, was the right USB adapter that I wanted for the project. Well, it was over here. Things have been moved around while I finish up this project. So I just can't help myself. I got to get as close to perfect as I can. I'm a little OCD about that. So I did some disassembling again, got that adapter in. And then I was able to dump this big full-size USB connector or USB Wi-Fi dongle and move to one of those tiny little ones that's about the size of a thumbnail. And finally, 4 hours later, I was done. What's the takeaway from this? Bad decision making. It's even worse than that. Had I not made an assumption at the beginning when I just grabbed one and said, this is probably the one I want, instead of taking the all of 1 minute that I would have checked to confirm it, that would have saved a lot of trouble. And then bad decision after that, after I learned that I had a bad one, I could have, should have, would have stopped the process and said, you know what, I'll use these soldered on ones in a future project, and let me go get one that's actually wireless. So I know it's just a boring story, but since it killed 4 hours of my life, I had to kill 10 minutes of yours with it. All right, that was 2 items on my list. We did the latest Raspberry update messes up your screen sizing on VNC, my OLED project for 4 hours. And then the last one, I have been busy. I've been busier for the last 4 or 5 months, perhaps, than I ever am at work. I mentioned I had to even dump some projects so that I could do this, but the missus has been out of town. She came back and we decided to take the other night off, and she comes home, she works at her desk next to me, I work at mine until midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what, not tonight. I'm just going to vegetate. We made a little dinner, ate on the sofa, and said, hey, how about some of the shows that we were watching last year? Are any of them back, and can we start catching up on them? And yay, I am already 13 episodes behind Star Trek Discovery. So we got through 4 a couple nights ago. The plan was to get through 2 last night, and we made it through 1 1/4, and then both fell asleep. So I got to watch episode 6 again tonight. But I'm so happy I'm binging and can't wait for the other, for Boba Fett to come back into production. My favorite guilty pleasure, Tacoma Fire, which goes back into production, I think, end of this year. Picard. And it was just so nice, though, to just vegetate for a couple hours, 3 hours, and watch. Oh, then I realized we just call it Discovery because it's Discovery, except the official title is Star Trek Discovery, which is an STD, right? All right, that takes care of, I think, all of the notes that I want to do until we get to contest. How we doing here? It's 10 minutes to go till contest or less. So let's see if you were foolish enough to listen to all that yammering, or if you have nice conversations amongst yourselves. Good Dave. Good evening, everyone. Yes, I am a good Dave. How did you know? My missus says so. Reading. Whoops, wrong screen. Oh, okay. I didn't know it by model number, the CZ858. Okay, I know exactly what that is. I know why you have that now. I remember, totally caught up. So you have replaced your CZ. Very bueno. Okay. Reading questions here. Double plus, good. Yeah, way to save on that language. We got to get rid of more words. Andre. So Andre de Goyert is being forced as part of his degree curriculum to take some programming. And, you know, whenever anybody asks Mike or I, what programming language should I take? And Andrew too, because Andrew's got a totally wrong answer, but we always tell people, you're going to learn programming. By far and away, the number one most useful and popular language to learn to code in 2022 is Python, followed perhaps by JavaScript. Now, there's other important languages, and depending on the industry, they may be more appropriate. But as far as what most people learn and what is used to run the web, it's a Python world and a JavaScript world. After that, when you need to get into fast running programs, efficient code and things like that, then you get into the C sharps and the C pluses and the plus pluses, the various flavors of C. Well, welcome to C. Andre de Goyert is learning C sharp, which is really weird. If you're going to learn C sharp, it would surprises me that that's the one they're going with as opposed to plus plus. But okay, it's not too difficult to transition. You know what? I'm not a C programmer. I assume it's not difficult to transition from one to the other. However, may be totally wrong, but C is useful and powerful. If you like these streams, hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it. Thank you, Andre. Brian Baggs is here. Hitting it twice would cancel it. That's right. When you hit it the first time, it thumbs up. When you hit it again, it undoes thumbs up. So hit it 3 times and you're good. There's already strange new worlds. Looks interesting. Okay. Yep. I'm one. You know, I'm not a Trekkie, but I am a Star Trek fan. I wonder if there's too much. And also, J.J. Abrams announced a new Star Trek movie. He starts shooting in 3rd quarter this year. Python. Andrew's with me today. Cool. Hey, all right. Caught up on questions then. Caught up on my outline. Let's do a contest. I'm feeling like some of you have not yet won wow, there's only 16 people here. There's probably only 3 of you watching who haven't yet won a total tester. You don't have to abandon if you have won before. However, we don't want people hoarding them. If you won 2 before, forget about it. I want this to go to new people or people who haven't won 2 and hopefully won. I haven't won, says Chris Doherty. Okay, so, but I want everybody to participate. It's a fun contest. So we're going to do a multiple choice contest today. I take my test questions that I make for these things from the objectives and write my own. I seldom pull them from Total Tester Online, which has an awesome, wonderful, incredibly good collection of great practice test questions. And the nice thing about Total Tester Online, think of this as you're winning the prize, is by default, it looks and acts very, 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 very close to what the actual Comptia exam looks like. But then it gets better because you can customize it. So when I say it looks and acts close, by default, it will create a test bank for you of 90 questions, and it knows all the domains, and it says, well, I know that domain 1, you're supposed to get on the real exam, 19% of the questions come from domain 1, and 23% of the questions come from domain 2, and 60, right? Well, that's what our total tester does. It knows the domain from all the questions are in there, and so it'll create the same percentage breakdown, and it does the same time limitations, and it can offer or not offer assistance. The real exam doesn't do that. And so cool, you can run it like that, or you can say, no, I don't want 90 questions, and I don't want them to come from all the different domains. I'm studying domain 1 right now. I want 40 questions from domain 1, and I want it to be untimed, or I want it to be really quick, or whatever. There's all kinds of powerful configuration utilities in there. So that's the prize for today's contest. You get 90-day access to it. It's an online thing. So what's going to happen is I'm going to submit the winner's information. You're going to send it to me. I'm going to send it to powerful people within the organizations who will very quickly generate an access code for you and instructions how to do that. And they will email you. I don't think anybody's going on vacation next week, so you should hear from them early next week with your access information. I don't use A, B, C, D in front of my answers. You must type in the actual text of the answer. Spelling matters because some of the answers are very close to one another. All right, is that enough background and happiness? I feel like it. And there's notes here. Okay, TTO contest giveaway. 1 entry per person. Okay, you get to post 1 response. So I'm only going to see 16 responses up there right now. I show 16 current viewers. If you post the second one online, you try again, or you type with the first one, sorry, you're out of the running for this one. But come back on Monday. Mike does this on Monday. He does it on Wednesday. And then I do it again on Friday. So you got 3 times a week that you can win practice tests. Wow, I wrote today's question is fill in the blank. It's not. It's a, oh, I see what's going on. Okay. Got to pull that out of my text. All right, let me bring up the question so you can see it on screen. When you think, so I'm going to post the question. I'm going to post 5 choices for you to select from. One of the answers is the correct choice. Okay. So I just had to make sure I had it all looking right here. You can see everything on it. Now we go to the share screen and click share and select. Here you go. Ready to see the question? I'm ready to show you the question. Today's test question for Total Tester Practice Test is, which networking technology best, watch that word, enables a single public IPv4 address to be shared by multiple hosts with private IPv4 addresses? Should have been a question mark there, not a period, huh? Your choices to answer are D8, these are in alphabetical order, DHCP, DMZ, DNS, NAT, VLAN. I guess we could pronounce NAT and VLAN. The other ones aren't pronounceable. DNS. All right, which networking technology best enables a single public IPv4 address to be shared by multiple hosts with private IPv4 addresses? I'll leave that question up. Andrew, you have the right answer as if you didn't already know it in the back channel. So if you'll help me find a likely winner. Everybody posting that they have or haven't won. Okay, so now let's see some answers up there. Good. I have a list of everybody that won and hasn't won, not to fear. That looks, okay, let me see if I agree with you. I'm sure I do. Okay, I agree that that is the first person with the right answer. The name is not familiar to me. And that means, you know, as frequently as I go through this list, that even if this person has won, they haven't won frequently. So we have a winner. And let me do my paperwork. I'm going to put the answer up here. And Andrew is going to post a message to the winner how to claim your win. While I do paperwork here just for a moment. Voucher winners, today's winner. Wow, I can't believe what an idiot I am. Oh, I'm not an idiot. Yes, I am. What an idiot. All right, Andrew and I both agree that today's winner is Gary Barnhart. Gary, congratulations. You've won a free access 90 days to any total tester that's in our inventory. Andrew is posting on the YouTube chat feed how to claim. Oh, wait, I can say talk about this answer real quick. The right answer is NAT, Network Address Translation. So you use NAT every day on your IPv4 networks, right? You got a NAT router. Your Soho router gets one public IP address from your internet service provider. And then on the other side of your NAT router is your home or your business. And those all have private IP addresses, which can't go out onto the internet. And so all those devices inside your home, your cell phones and your Roku and your smart TV and your computers and your everything that's network inside your home shares that same single public IP address that your router got from your internet service provider, and it does that via the process called NAT. So Gary, in order to collect your winnings, you're going to send an email to me. And in that email, you got to tell me your YouTube name. I know it is. It's Gary Barnhart. Sorry, I moved it to another page. And all this stuff has to be in the body of the email. You must include your YouTube name, your real name, first name and surname, the email address that you want us to use to contact you. I know you got an email address in the header. I can't use that one. I got to have one in the body of the email. So the email address you want us to send your access information to, and then which practice test you want access to. And you got to give me it by exam number, right? So if it's A+, say 220-1001. And by the way, if you asked for either 1001 or 1002, you will get them both. That's a package deal on that. That's not the case for any of the other practice tests. So if you want Network Plus, you got to tell me N10007 or N10008. You get the idea? Okay, SY0601. I can't use the name. I need the exam number. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Gary Barnhart, for winning today's Total Tester Online Access. And at 2 minutes past the hour, that is the perfect time to start a project. Let me see if anything popped up here. And then we'll do a project that doesn't take very long, and then we'll do a contest for a Comptia voucher, which I know is why the 16 of you that are here are here. But you know what it's like today? I would look at this and be horrified and offended and terrified, but Mike's numbers this week were really a little on the sluggish side as well. So the world is on vacation or doing whatever it does, you know, or maybe it's us. Maybe the word got out and said, don't watch Mike or Dave. Or Andrew. Let's see. Anybody have anything funny up there? What is this? Yes, it is. You like that one, huh? Oh, okay. So, yeah, there's some stuff that have further questions we got to take a look at here. Do you add other fruits to your sun tea? Strictly lemon. I'm a lemon guy. The lifestyle eating choices that I have switched to don't allow me any sweet fruits. No apples, no oranges, not even grapefruit. Arguably lemon, but so no, I love, man, I'll make tea sangria, no wine, but just 47 different kinds of fruits in tea. And I'm a very happy guy. Those days are behind me now. I've still got another 25 or so pounds to lose, but heading for fighting weight. And like I said, if I get this right, I'm going to get down in the next 3 years to my birth weight. That's my goal. All right, I got a list of everybody who hasn't won yet. I got it. Still doing a voucher giveaway? Yes, I will, Chris. Ryan, is Total Tester mobile friendly? And Rainbow Jesse says, good question. And Jared says, yes, it is. So, yes, it is ish. I hear a lot of challenges on iOS mobile devices. So it does seem to work pretty well on Android, not as well on iOS. DNAT, Jared, that wasn't one of the choices, amigo. That's what I should say. Kingwell, sorry. Though. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. You were right. Brian, it's a good thing you passed on VLAN because it wouldn't have gotten you the prize. Now, VLAN doesn't allow you to share IP addresses. It isolates networks by MAC address. I forgot. SNS. Arr. Okay, so Gary Barnhart, there it is. Andrew posted the same instructions that I had on screen at on the hour. If you will copy and paste that, then that'll be everything that I want, that I need. Okay, thanks. Finally won something. Huzzah. Yeah, your chances are better and better every week as we get less people and we get more winners. You're going to do okay. All right, that takes care of the last of the questions here. Let us move into Projectville. Means I need my online notes and we'll get online and do some stuff here. Today's project, we're going to install an internet radio client on Raspberry Pi. Now, I've actually done the installation of an internet radio client on Raspberry Pi in the past. However, it's very different than the one I'm going to do today, and I will explain it. So what's my goals? I want you to have something hands-on that uses a streaming protocol. Streaming protocols are addressed very lightly in A+, and with a little bit more depth in Network+, but basically it's know which of these are streaming protocols by name and by port number. So no RTMP, no RTP, couple others in those. They're not going to expect you to know the guts, what the packet looks like in these. They do want you to know if you're using a real-time protocol or real-time streaming protocol, whether or not it's a multicast. That's covered in the courses. I'm not going to teach you multicasting right now, as opposed to broadcasting, as opposed to unicasting. But some are, if you're watching live, it's a multicast. If you're watching a live sporting event, if you're watching me live here today, you're watching it as a streaming protocol that's a multicast. If you're watching this later on the archive, it's already been recorded. It's going to be a unicast. It's going to be a one-on-one send from YouTube to you, right? You get the idea. Multicast goes out to a whole bunch of people at the same time, and we don't know necessarily all of your IP addresses. Yeah, I'll do a multicast lecture someday because it's really interesting and it's really fun, but we're not going to devote that kind of time to it today. So what's different about the one that I did in the past? Well, as I mentioned, we're going to use this tutorial. Andrew, would you repost the tutorial link on the chat feed, please? It's pypi.org, whack project, whack pi radio, py radio. It's not designed for Raspberry Pi, so it's not pi radio. It's a Python product. It's designed to run on a lot of different distros. What's interesting about this one compared to the old one I did, the old one that I did was Volumio. Volumio is really, really good. I like Volumio, but it didn't meet today's goals, and I'll go into the differences between today's and that one. One of them, however, is that it's a lovely graphical interface program, whereas this one is much more compact because it's a command line program. I give credit to the where I got this kind of tutorial from. Again, it's been a long time since he wrote that. Very surprising that it actually worked as well as it did. And some stuff that was out of date, I had to make some minor adjustments. But there's a gentleman out there named Ben Dowling who has posted his tutorial at the link that Andrew probably just posted. Yes, he did. Wait, that was the Discord link. There we go. Yeah, he posted it at 3:08. There you go. Thank you, Andrew. But if you want the step-by-steps that all work in order, just download my archive documents from PIRSquare, PIRSQUARE.zapto.org, and you'll get all the working steps in order. So why did I pick this? Two reasons. One, I'm busy at work and I didn't get much chance to develop a show until a couple of days ago. And I realized I didn't have time to develop a really good show today. That takes me a long time. I can put in 20 or 30 hours of development on a project sometimes. And so I'm just going to work one late night this week and put a couple hours into it. And that's going to be it. And so that's what I accomplished today. I'm very happy with the results. The other reason is I love radio. Okay, I'm a dying breed. I know nobody here watching today loves radio like I do. You don't listen to radio anymore. Everything that you do is online. Okay, cool. We're going to mix both worlds then, because we call this an internet radio player, and it actually can access terrestrial radio signals somewhere, but they're going to direct them to you, of course, over the internet online. But I love it. I love broadcasting. I love receiving radio, all kinds, not just music and news, but communications of everything out there. You should see some of the radio gear that I have. We'll play with that in the upcoming year. I'm getting ready to order a marvelous new software controlled radio receiver, but I got to get blessing from my bookkeeper and lovely and beautiful and warm and welcoming wife. Which, you know, she'll probably nod her head until I tell her the numbers. Anyway, so if it moves information over radio frequency, I love it. I love it. Well, the world is moving from a radio frequency world, an RF world, to sending audio and video over networks. But the way they do that oftentimes has connections to their old roots. You know, like there may be a DJ running, or they may be organized in stations and categories and things like that. So there's a little bit of that old radio vibe that's sort of been updated to deal with the technology of the 21st century. So that's cool. So internet radio then is kind of like an audio version of YouTube. There's thousands of internet radio sites out there. There's huge numbers of apps that organize them into categorized selection. And so why not the Raspberry Pi? There's tons of apps out there to listen to internet radio, but there's a problem. And the problem is the Pi, and specifically its ARM architecture. That means if you want to use an internet radio client, it needs one of two categories. It either has to support the CPU that it's running on. That's really easy when we're dealing with the x86 ARM world, right? The Intel and the ARM world, because there's so much of that out. I'm sorry, Intel AMD world, 3 letters starts with A, right? And so many other similarities. The second 2 letters, or the second and third letter, are both consonants, not vowels. All right, enough of that. But you either got to have an application that understands and can deal with an ARM architecture, or we need a program that's CPU agnostic, but works with the operating system that we're using. And so that was the direction that I chose. Raspberry Pi was developed to work really, really, really well with Python code and Python applications. So what I was looking for is a command line utility that's small. Command line, it doesn't have all that graphical stuff. It's Python based, and it's easy to use and install and understand. So Volumio is great. I love it, but I wanted something more compact, something that could run without a GUI. And so I found lots out there, but Pi Radio was the one that struck me. PY Radio, all one word. It met my requirements. It's a small program. It's simple. It's Python based. It works from the command line requirements. So let's get started. What do I need? I need a Raspberry Pi. Any model will work. Audio is not a huge generator of traffic. It doesn't have to be decoded in the same way or with the same level of compute power that video does. So, okay, I could even do this on a Raspberry Pi Zero. And of course, your Pi Zero needs a power supply and an enclosure so it doesn't get shorted out. And you need an internet connection, 1, to install the software, and 2, to access the various internet radio stations out there. You're going to need a speaker system. That's going to be an interesting thing to us, but let me just do it now. The speaker system that you're going to use must be connected to the Raspberry Pi. So if you access this thing remotely over VNC or over SSH, the sound is not going to come out of your client machine. It's going to come out of the speakers that are attached to the Raspberry Pi. And that's fine. I've got dozens of Raspberry Pis surrounding me here. I very, very, very seldom use a real keyboard and mouse and monitor on them. I remote to all of them. So if they're connected to a speaker system over there, that's fine. I remote to it, I can hear it. And hopefully you can do the same. But if I'm, in an airport in Denver and I try and connect online, which I can do, I'm not going to hear any audio come out of it. What do we need for software? You need an operating system, you need Raspberry Pi OS. You need to either make sure that your SSH interface is enabled if you're going to do it, connect to it remotely and manage it, or you're going to need physical mouse, keyboard, monitor. All right, that's that. Got to have current Python, either 2.x or 3.x. If you're using current versions of Raspberry Pi operating system, you've got that. You need an audio player. Now, back in the day, our author of the original tutorial said MPlayer or VLC. Folks, there's only one choice for the real world, VLC. So you're gonna have to install VLC. And there are 3 different ways to install versions of Pi Radio, but only one that installs the version, a version I found that works. You're gonna need the Pip installer, PIP. So let's start with, I've installed a Raspberry Pi. It's got SSH installed, or it's got VNC installed. You can do that if you like. I'm going to show this to you using VNC because it's graphical and pretty, but you can do this 100% with a standard stock SSH connection. I'm going to VNC to it, and then I'm just going to use the terminal interface. So let me connect to a Raspberry Pi. And password is Raspberry, RASPBERRY. There it is. It's been freshly updated. I have uninstalled Pi Radio from it. Now we're going to share with you so you can see it. And here's a Raspberry Pi. I do have 1 or 2 things installed on there that are a bit time consuming, but the Pi Radio is off. So I'll demo everything that you need to know. And I had a brilliant idea on how to make this work the other day, and it's not going to do what I want it to do. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, if it's not already included, I'm using a system right now that I don't know if it's included because I've used this system for so many other projects. So we're going to install the Pip installer. And there's a way you can check and see if it's already installed simply by typing pip space --h. And that'll tell you if it's installed by either giving you the results, by giving you a help screen on how to use pip. Hey, there it is. But if you get a message that says something like unable to find command pip, then it's not installed. And you simply install it with sudo apt install pip. Doesn't hurt you to do that if it's already installed, because it'll check the current version. By the way, before you ever do any installations, of course, make sure you do a sudo apt update and a sudo apt upgrade. And you may or may not want to reboot after that. I typically reboot these days afterward. But this one came back and said, hey, pip's already installed. There's a Python 3 pip. That's okay. Just it's already installed. Python 3 pip is already the newest version installed. There's no upgrades. All right, cool. I got pip installed. And if I didn't, I would. And it's a quick install. The next thing we've got to install, this one's a bit time consuming, couple minutes. So I've already got this one installed, and that's VLC. Sudo apt install VLC. Everybody uses not AP install, apt install. And again, it's already newest, it's already installed. So, okay, I got all the support stuff that I need. I need pip to install Pi Radio, and I need VLC to take the output of Pi Radio and send it to my speaker system. Cool, prep is done. And by the way, if you install Pip from scratch, it's somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds. It's really quick. VLC, I uninstalled that once just to test it. And actually took this one 1 minute, about 1 minute. All right, so we're ready. Make sure before you do any of the next steps, I did this before we started the show, sudo apt update. You can hit the enter key here and wait for it to update and then run the next command, or string them together. I've showed you this many, many times. That means, and then after you're successful, do another command, sudo apt upgrade. And you can proceed or follow upgrade with a -y, and that'll cause it not to prompt you with, are you sure you want to do this, yes or no? I've already done that, and it will still do a little bit of work for 30 to 60 seconds, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. It is updated and upgraded and ready to go. All right, so at this point, we're ready to do it. You could, again, establish an SSH connection here, or a VNC one, or use the real program and, keyboard, mouse, monitor. So here's the installation process. And what's important to remember about this installation process is we're not going to use sudo. When we use the pip program, we simply say pip install, and then the name of the program is Pi Radio. The difference between pip installing and sudo apt installing is sudo apt gets it from the apt cache repository. Pip gets it from the Python package installation store. It's semi-universal out there, semi. So here we go. It's not installed on my machine. And this should take, I made notes. Last time I did this, once it started, it was about 1 minute and 2 seconds. Did you just turn that on? Mm-hmm. Could you, if you're roasting, feel free, but otherwise. Thank you. That had an impact. All right, now these couple warnings here, don't worry about them for now. The reality of these warnings says it has installed the program in a place that you can't run it from by sitting anywhere. You actually have to go to the folder in which this is located. And it's really easy. You can simply relocate this program to another place. I'll show you that in another world another time. But you can see it happened very quickly. It took less than a minute or so. And the program is now installed. So now I want to run it. It's just a Python program. It's very simple, pretty much self-contained. And you can see from this error message where it is. It's in home pi, and then in a directory called .local, and then in a subdirectory called .bin. We're already in home pi. If I do an ls on here, you won't see .local because ls doesn't show you hidden directories unless we force it to by saying ls space -la. Now here's everything alphabetically, and there's that directory .local. So let's go into .local, cd space .local, and see what's in there. Yeah, I got 3 folders in there, bin, lib, and share. That error message said the thing that I was looking for is in bin, so I'll cd space bin. I'm going to do an ls, and there's one thing in there. It's a program. It's called Pi Radio. By the way, if you did this someplace else, if you were someplace else, I don't know, let's go to the, let's cd to user. All right, now I want to get to that folder. cd tilde, that means my home folder, whack.local, whack.bin, whack.bin. And there I am again. Okay. That's the thing we taught 1,000,000 years ago. Might be worthy of doing a refresher on that because it's been a couple of years and we got a lot of new faces, right? All right, so the first thing I want to do is test this program and see if it runs. It's a Python program. which means there are two ways that I can run it. I can say Python space, and then the name of the program, Pi Radio, and any switches that go after that. And that's one of the things I'm going to teach you right now. But .whack Pi Radio will also work because there's a shebang in there that says, hey, I'm a Python program. .whack means read the shebang, figure out what interpreter to use, and call it. So let's just start with a simple one, Pi Radio space -H. That's the help file, help command. And if we get any outputs, what we've learned is that the program appears to be running correctly. It shows me how to use this thing. By the way, if you want to uninstall Pi Radio, you simply go to the directory that it's in, where we are right now, and you use the pip uninstaller, pip uninstall Pi Radio. Hit the enter key, and it'll ask you a yes or no. It says, hey, I'm going to wipe out a bunch of stuff here. You really sure you want to do that? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, but I don't want to do that right now. Cool, it's working. Now, what we learned from this help screen is that you can include command line options here to pre-select a station, to select random stations or music or whatever. Cool. I'll let you study that at your own leisure because you don't know what stations or anything like that there are. So what we really want to do is just run this thing as a program. Let me do a clear here. And I'm going to say .whack Pi Radio. Man, I just always want to put that R next. PY radio. And this launches it out of the command line mode and into a textual memory mode. Now, I don't have speakers hooked up to mine, so you're not going to hear anything. But what I'm going to want you to watch for is down here on the bottom line. I'm going to pick a station or a category of stations or whatever. Oh, Reggae Kings, love reggae. You think I'm kidding? I love reggae. But I am a child of the 70s. And I didn't go through, I only went to the first page of these. There's a little more here. Virgin Radio, that's cool. Sky FM if you're English. All right, best of the 80s. I just enter on it. Command line interface initialized. It's happening. It's playing whatever tune is on best of the 80s. So cool. Change stations just by arrowing to it. Plus and minus on your keyboard provides volume controls, up and down arrows, selects. There's a few more. You can type in the word help. We're already as you type in, you got to go get help in the command line. But one command that works here is just the letter Q. That gets you out of it. And that's it. So you can pick up all kinds of streaming audio. There are ways to add in your own entries there from various different streaming audio sites. The choices, sites is probably what I wanted to say there. All right, let me go check my notes here. There's one other thing that I want to show you. Oh, how about this? This will be cool. Sorry, I need my notes here for a second. Did this, did this, did this. Two things I want to show you. When you, oh yeah, okay. Within the menu, as I said, plus and minus to change volume. M for mute, just hit the letter M, it'll mute you. R randomly selects a station. Space stops and starts what you're playing. Escape or Q will quit out of the program. So what I want to do is I'm going to put this summary up here so you can at least have a view of it. So here's what we did. We started by installing Raspberry Pi operating system. You can use an existing installation. It doesn't have to be a fresh, shiny new install. Just make sure you do an update, upgrade before you do any of the other things. Connect your Pi to a set of speakers. Install pip program if it's not already installed, with sudo apt install pip. Do the same thing with VLC. And then start in your home directory. Just run the cd command so you're already in the right place to begin with. And then you install the PyRadio program with pip install PyRadio. Then you go down into that folder. This command, the way I have it documented in my archives, will take you there no matter where you are. So cd space tilde whack.local whack bin. And then launch the PyRadio. You can do .whack pyradio -h and see all the command line options. You can just run it totally from command line, or you can say .whack pyradio and get the menu up that I just showed you. And that is today's project. Simple, sweet, fun. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to close this. Cool. And we finally got one done at a reasonable amount of time. We got a half an hour worth of show left. I'll do more questions. I'll do the contest and we'll do more questions and then we'll wind it up. Yay. Let me get to my page. It's got contest for when we get there. Cool. Remember, if you want any of this stuff besides watching it, what I just did, grab my archive documents from wherever I held that stuff, right? pyrsquare.zapto.org. Okay, questions and things that pop up. Old stuff, yes, one something, 303 in passing. Andrew Hutt, spam that Discord link again. Hey, also spam the discount program again and feel free to throw that Discord link up one more time. Or as many times as you feel like it. Whenever you feel like throwing either of them up, knock yourself out. King, what time? You ask too late, huh? What time is the voucher giveaway? It's never the same time. It's generally about the time that I get done with a project. And if there's a lot of time left in the show, I'll do questions first, like I'm doing now. So a few minutes. All right, I'm gonna try it, Gibson, because I always try it. And I apologize in advance if and when I mangle your name. So I missed anything here? Okay, Gibson, Onyekwu, Onyenekwu. Sorry in advance if I badly butchered it. Not that I wasn't too far off, but what time is the voucher giveaway? Why do I have viewers here? Oh yeah, because of the voucher giveaway, huh? TD Washington listens to the police scanner. Very good. Love scanners. Love. Of course, I listen to aircraft radio. Is it a 2-hour program so I can get with my popcorns? Yes, we started an hour and a half ago. We're going to end in the next 30 minutes or so. It's 2 o'clock Central Time, Central Daylight Time, if daylight time is in effect in the US, or Central Standard Time if it's not in effect. I should also keep posting UTC. I'll start adding that into my litany of announcements. What about terrestrial radio signals? All day, all night. I have sat right here at my desk. I have a satellite radio receiver. I listen to terrestrial radio that's converted to online in the morning until noon. And then the programs that I want to listen to are done on terrestrial radio. And I switch to satellite radio. In my car, I do both terrestrial and satellite. And then when I'm just playing hobby radio, I have all kinds of radios all over the place that are RF based and require a multitude of antennas and fun stuff. Most of you know, and some of you don't, I have been an amateur radio operator, a ham, since I was 13 or 14, I think a little older, 14 or 15. So anyway, some in there for well over 30 years. What about extraterrestrial? I read that wrong, you goober, Brian Baggs. I'm always listening. I gave a long answer to the question that was not being asked. Sorry about that. Bring it up on your mobile. You can go anywhere without missing anything. Sure. Can't type quickly in mobile. Yeah, that's a challenge. You can do what other people do. They have answers ready to go and hit the enter key. They usually have nothing to do with the question. It's some port number or HTTPS or something, but who knows? Lightning strikes, right? Dave does a random, yeah, the next contest will be a random number with 37 digits. Oh, I'm kidding. I think there's only 35. BD Vasquez, is he doing the 5 anyway away soon? Am I doing the 5 away soon? I'm doing the Comptia exam voucher soon. And by the way, if you didn't win Total Tester Online and you want it, you got 2 choices, right? You can watch another show, catch Mike's 2 shows on Monday, Wednesday, or my show on Friday. The same is true for Comptia vouchers. Or you don't have to spend a lot of money and you can get it at 50% off using the discount program that Andrew posted at 31 minutes past the current hour, 3:31 my time. Just go to totalsim.com, create yourself a bundle. I described how to do that earlier in the show. And when you check out, use the code Tyler, Tyler. Tyler was a US president who became president upon the death. He was a vice president and the president passed away in office and he became president. So, and that happened on Monday. I always do an event that happened on the date on Monday at the beginning of the week. So we always have something kind of fun and historical to talk about. Ulysses is here. Anybody has the link for the archives? Yes, Andrew, I don't know if I post. Yeah, the archive link I think is in your back channel. Would you post the archive link? Grazie. If that doesn't pop up in the next minute or so, I'll pop it myself. Ride bags, extraterrestrial system. Yeah, I got Savage Cabbage. I miss when phones had radio by default. Yeah, I'm with you. I love FM radio built in. Link isn't here. Oh, says Andrew. Okay, let me put up the link for for drama archive documents. That's http://PIR, there's no K in PAR, PIRSQUARE.zapto.org. Okay, it is posted at 37 minutes past the current hour, 3:37 my time. Jared won 2 contests on mobile. I knew you meant contest. When's he going to give? Yeah, okay. I've said it enough. I'm giving it away shortly. That's right. Tip Gnu and Tyler too. When he ran for president or vice, that was his slogan. My pleasure, Ulysses. We got some decent classic rock stations here in Nova Scotia. You do, as a matter of fact, my Volumio has an incredible list of stations online and offline, and Nova Scotia is well represented there. My pleasure, Ulysses. All right, well, questions are caught up. Seems like an opportune moment. We had it 37 minutes past the hour to do a giveaway or to do a contest for a giveaway. This contest is going to be, yeah, you know it. You've all been waiting for it. How many people do we have here that have been waiting for it? Oh, man, still only 16 people today. Sweating it. All right, well, this is going to be a giveaway for a Comptia voucher, good for any Comptia exam except CYSA Plus, or whatever their rationale is. Where can I use this voucher, Dave? You can use this anywhere in the world that Comptia exams are given. So that's not every country in the world. You might have to pick a country nearby to take advantage of it. If you're going to do it at home, it has to be at home in a country where the exams are given. I'm not going to get into the mechanics of all that stuff. I will get into the mechanics of how the game works. Somebody's going to win today. And when they do, I'm going to post, and Andrew is going to post, how to claim your winnings. You must send me an email that has some very specific information. This is information that Comptia wants. And if it's not what they want and the way they want it, then you missed it. So if you send it to me wrong, what I'm going to do to you is just send you back a response that says, incomplete or inaccurate or something like that. I'm not going to tell you what you did or how you did, because everybody here is an adult. You know how to read what I put on screen. You know how to read what Andrew is going to put in the chat feed. You can copy and paste it, and it's very easy to get it right. I've started to do that, but if I don't, everybody on 50% of the people on Mike's shows, when he does this, he doesn't go over this stuff and browbeat you people. And that means 50% of the applicants that I receive stuff from, I have to send back. Incomplete. Please do it right. Follow the instructions that we posted. But I know you guys are different. Everybody's actually, that's really true. Everybody here is very good. I seldom get a problem with anybody submitting here. All right, enough of that nonsense. So the general rule is no previous winners of vouchers. However, you can still play. You can say pass. You can say not. Please say pass if you've already won. That doesn't mean you won't be a winner. If everybody who submits an answer today wins, I'm going to have to pick somebody who previously won. So even somebody who passes may very well wind up winning. But it saves me a lot of effort if you put pass to let me know that you've already won, and I don't have to go look you up and say, oh no, they've already won. If you have won twice, not going to happen today. You may win again sometime in the future, but I know there are people here that have won 0 times and some that have won only once. So we try to make it as fair as possible. I try to make it fair by making sure it's a question that you can answer with the same chances as anybody else. I use a random number generator. I'll get into that. So I'm going to give you a range of numbers. You're going to guess a number in that range. You may have 3 guesses today. They must be on separate lines. Okay, and I want to see 1, 2, 3 as a single entry. Do a 1, and then do another entry with a 2, and then another entry with a 3, or whatever the number is going to be for you. That is the nature of the beast. Whoever I and Andrew see as the most likely winner, based on your closeness of number and based on how many times you may or may not have won, that's who we're picked. We're human, we make mistakes, we do our best, but once I announce the winner, pretty much right or wrong, that's the winner. No do-overs, even if I'm wrong. This gets harder and harder every week because the list gets 3 names longer every week, right? All right, so I used a pseudo-random number generator this week to generate the number. You'll find it if you want to use it yourself at randomnumbergenerator.com. And okay, the rules of this one before I give you the range, you get 3 guesses. Closest to without going over will be named as the winner, give or take the amount of time that they won before. All right, you ready to start typing in your guesses? The range today, the number count has gone up. People started making calls. He's going to do it. Get online, you might win. Got my sister online. She could help win. She doesn't want to do it, but she'll give me the win, right? All right. All right, 3 guesses, separate posts, closest to without going over in the range of, these numbers are inclusive, so the number I list is potentially a valid number, as well as anything in between. Here we go. The range is 8,000 through 10,000 inclusive. 3 guesses, closest to without going over, wins a Comptia exam voucher that works wherever it worked, wherever they're given in the world. Let me look at that number so I can start looking for winners. All right, there's the first guess. The first guess is always the closest one because nobody else has posted yet, right? I see a winner a previous winner who didn't say pass. Please, if you've won in the past, say pass so I don't have to go look you up. Somebody did something interesting. They posted the same number as somebody else. That's okay because the somebody else may have won in the past and they get knocked out of the running, especially if you haven't. So all right, right now that's the closest winner I see. We're going to run this for about 1 minute. Save that one. That's the closest to so far in my list. That one was pretty close. There you. Sorry, just reading numbers here. I know we have dead air, biggest crime. Okay, that one was not as close. About 30 more seconds. Ooh, there's a new closer one. But the name is very familiar. So I'm going to make notes here. Oh, that was not as close as the other one. And I don't recognize the name of that other one, so that's cool. Ooh, there's a closer one. Again, a familiar name. So let's see. I'm not going to start looking it up yet. 10 more seconds. Okay, watching. I'll tell you what. On my list, Savage Cabbage has 2 entries in a row that are 1 digit. That's my cutoff. If you post after those 2 entries from Savage Cabbage, you've missed your opportunity. All right, so let me check the 2 names that appeared in my list in order of closeness. And Andrew in the back channel, would you let me know what you think whilst we doing this? Not that list, this list. All right, we need this name. That person won. They were slightly closer than another winner, but I am going to go with the other winner. Let me just double check and make sure that's not a winner in the list. Okay, good. This person, I got a winner. Let me see what Andrew sees. Yes, we are in 100% agreement, Andrew Hutz. So I'll tell you the winning number. You can figure out how close you were. The winning number was 8393. 8393. A previous winner had a guess of 8200. You know who you are. But being a previous winner, our winner today is Fiona Welch with her guess of 8125. Wow. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. I got to fix that up. Fiona Welch, congratulations. You have won a Comptia exam voucher for any good Comptia exam except CYSA anywhere in the world. Andrew is going to post on the YouTube chat feed how to claim your winnings. I'm going to do the same thing up on the big screen here. Get off of there. Right here. Okay, and now I'm going to share it. Really, I am. There we go. There's the share utility. Fiona, you're going to send me an email. I'm going to send it to daver@totalsem.com. And this will be in the chat feed as well. In that email, in the body of the email, you're going to identify yourself and the YouTube name that you used this very day. I have it covered up, so I only remember the Fiona part of it. And in the body of the email, put your YouTube name, Fiona, whatever that was, your real name, your first name, and your surname. If you have registered for Comptia exams in the past, use the same names that you use there. Same for your email address. I can't use the email address that's in the header of your email. It must be in the body of the email. And this is the address that you want Comptia to communicate with you. And that they're going to associate with your voucher. So again, if you want, or if you've scheduled anything with Comptia in the past, use the same email. And I said, which practice test here? It's which exam number you would like a voucher for. I never realized that typo was in here. Sorry about that. Oh, it's because I got the wrong slide up. Try this again. Send an email to dave@totalsem.com. Identify yourself, YouTube name that you use when you want a voucher. So your YouTube name, your real name, first and last name, email address, both match Comptia records if you've got Comptia records, which exam that you want to take by exam number. There's only one A+ exam voucher available for you, so pick whichever one you want, 220-1001 or 220-1002 or Net Plus, N10, 007, 008, whatever the exam number is. Comptia needs to know what country you intend to take your exam in, and not where you live. It's what country you're going to take the exam in. Make sure that that's available. And if your country happens to be the United States, you must also include the state where you're going to take that in. So congratulations, Fiona. Let me shrink this and I'll get that full name there. Fiona Welch. There we go. And that's wonderful. If you didn't win, come back. We'll do this again. We'll do it on Monday. We'll do it on Wednesday. We'll do it again on Friday. So plenty of opportunity here. And, you know, the word's not getting out. We're getting a little light on the body count today. Today was a really good day for your odds. And we'll see how that all goes. I'm going to do something about that. Be aware when body count like this starts to drop, I start doing announcements on my social media. And that'll bring things up. So, but you still have good odds. Man, that was dumb. Chew on a bunch of ice while I'm talking. All right, so we got 10 minutes of showtime left. Let's see what's going on here at the end of things. Tulloway. Oh, you had a very close guess at the beginning. You were in my list of early winners until I saw, oh, that's Tulloway. He can't win again. So I'm reading through messages, trying to get to the point where there's real messages. Okay, so there's the 2 from Savage Cabbage. Some of you have put in more than 3 guesses. We are watching you. I'm terrible about that. I look for first entries. I admit I put in 88.7 pass after matching 88. I like the 8888 reference. I feel a Google reference in there. That's okay. All right, so Fiona Welch, Andrew posted the claim instructions that I just read to you at 3:47 my time. Cinderfly, nice moniker. I like that one. That's cool. I haven't been, says Savage Cabbage, to a Friday stream in a while. That's why I messed up. Yeah, that's why. Let's go with that. Jared, 83.93. You were just 1 digit off. I don't remember how close you were, but I did see your name and you were a recent winner, if I remember right. Now you're going to make me double check. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I saw you. I had you listed those as one of my 3 possible winners to look up. So, but you are fairly recent. Looking at it from the bottom of the list, 1, 2, 3. You won 3 contests ago. You are definitely not in the running. Janelle is calling. Would you answer this and let her know I'm doing Mike's show? Aim, would you answer this and tell her I'm doing Mike's show? Just touch the answer button. Sorry, I would usually ignore my phone, but that's an important person at the office. Awesome, you'll send it soon. Yeah, so if you get that stuff, the winners today, if either winner is still here, please send that to me as quick as possible, and I will get that stuff sent out this very evening. Now, it's too late for Comptia to get it. They're closed, but they will get it first thing on Monday morning. And how long does it take? Some of them happen pretty doggone quick. Some of them have taken over 8 weeks. I think I saw a batch run over 10 weeks. It happened though, especially the international ones. Okay, if you're international, it does take them a little longer to coordinate with the country that you're going to be in. They've got the system works a little different there than it does in the US. Yes, Chris Kenton, I would have gotten away with it. One of those meddling kids. Thank you. You'll be passing, no worries. Okay, very good. All right, well, that gets us pretty well wound up. We got about 7 minutes of show left. If you're done with questions, I'm done with show. And we can wind things up ever so briefly. Is this saved? Yeah, let me save that. And let's talk a little bit about what's up and coming in the world, because I have things in the world that are up and coming. Don't you know? Let's see, it's over on this page. What's going on there? Man, I've really got to work out a better solution than that. I know it doesn't make sense to you. It's okay. So next couple of episodes, Andrew and I have not done what we were supposed to do. Totally my fault in prepping a Nessus episode. We will work diligently to make that get that prep done this week. My envision is that we do two-part episodes. We're going to do probably an installation on one episode, how to install Nessus on a Raspberry Pi, and then a second show, a usage or a tour of it. Andrew speaks Nessus very well. Dave knows the word Nessus and the word Raspberry Pi. And after that, I've done some reading, of course, but as far as really touching the product, no está aquí. Other things up and coming on my list. I'm going to do a subnetting presentation sometime in the next 6 weeks. I can do it cold. I can do it with a whiteboard. I could do it with but I want to do it because this is Pi Day Friday. I want to find a way to do demonstrations using Raspberry Pi, and I just haven't started working on that yet. So bear with me. Excuse after. Okay. So that's all I've got that I'm certain of. Per Andre's request, I will do something with IoT and home server, so we can do a little bit of home management remotely and in homes on Raspberry Pi. That's becoming very popular and very easy. Mike is anticipating being on Monday. He doesn't have a special feature planned. World holds its collective breath on both things. All right, you ready to wind it up? Anything else pop up new here before I do the big wind up and pitch? Let's see. Close, congrats, awesome. Meddling kids. Okay, nope, that's everything. All right, well, let's close this puppy down then. How can we close this down effectively? I don't know, something like this. Oh, that's a good way to do it. I like that one. So as ever and always, my eternal gratitude to Mike Myers, Andrew Hutz, and everybody at Total who generously provide their resources and their time to make this happen. And my most heartfelt thanks goes to you and everyone who comes here to participate. I am Dave Rush. I'm the senior instructor at Total Seminars and resident Pi specialist, wishing you a great weekend. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. Call or visit your parents. And never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And so I'm not going to see you on Discord later today, but I'll be on all weekend and as everywhere. So see you sometime. See you at Discord over the weekend and over next week and at the AMAs next week. And until then, I am out of here.